And when I started off in my career, I thought it was fairly normal to spend almost all, if not all, of my monthly income. And that was because, well, the next paycheck was pretty much guaranteed. And back then, in social settings, I would get asked this question fairly often. If you had $1 million, what would you do with it? When I finally figured out what I would do with $1 million, I finally figured out what my relationship with money was. And this was precisely the turning point that helped me save and invest towards early retirement from a 9 to 5 job. In this video, I will share with you 9 frugal practices that actually helped me save and invest my way into early retirement. A very warm welcome to all of my new subscribers. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Jumoke, and I retired from my 9 to 5 career in my 30s and now live off of my investments. On this channel, I share my journey towards early retirement. I also talk about personal finance, investing, wealth creation, as well as self-development. If these sound interesting to you, do not forget to click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Let's dive right in. In a world where overconsumption has become the order of the day, being contrarian can be very fulfilling as well as freeing. And the best part is, whether you are looking to improve your financial health or perhaps start saving towards retirement, you can easily start to adopt these practices today. I stopped chasing shiny objects. Ever since I was a teenager, there are 2 things I thoroughly enjoyed. Number 1, great style or fashion. And number 2, photography gadgets. And I spent a pretty penny on both of these items over the years. But as I got older, I started to realize that there will always be another best coat I ever owned, or another best camera of the year. And it started becoming apparent to me that chasing these shiny objects that sometimes cost thousands and thousands was just draining my finances. And now, before I purchase any items with hefty price tags, I always ask myself about the true tangible value that I will get from the item and whether or not I really need it. Transportation. If you own a car, I'm sure you agree that owning a car is expensive. From insurance to fuel to maintenance, it all adds up. And so I made a big decision. I sold my car. And this decision was also anchored on the fact that I live in an area of London that is really accessible and it's fairly easy to get from point A to point B. Also, I now walk to places that are within an hour of reach, and I try to complete 10,000 steps every single day. I utilize the public transportation system when I need to. I get on the bus or the train, and sometimes I will hail a cab if needed. And I can justify the amount I spend on cabs because my transportation costs have become very low ever since I sold my car. Using the buses and the trains have just reminded me of the beauty of rediscovering London. Not only has this reduced my expenses by thousands every year, it has also made me healthier and less stressed about parking in London, which anyone knows is a bit of a nightmare. Insourcing self-care. Back when I was in employment, due to my hours and my heavy travel schedule, I hadn't the time nor the patience for insourcing self-care. Morning. So I'm trying out a new hotel. I'm here on business. I just got in. I've been flying all day. I just got back from dinner from a restaurant called Martini Restaurant. So it's 6 a.m. I just got off a flight. I've been traveling like crazy for the past month, but I'm so excited to be here. This is one of my favorite hotels ever, and it's definitely a welcome change because I'm tired. For years, I would regularly get my hair, my nails, my eyebrows, my waxing done at the salon. And I would sometimes get massages 4 or 5 times a month, and these weren't cheap. But when the global health crisis hit in 2019 and everything was shut down, this really was a turning point for me. I suddenly discovered that I was able to do a lot of these things for myself at a fraction of the price, or effectively for free. And insourcing a lot of my self-care has cut out thousands from what I thought were essential expenses. Now, of course, the preference to outsource or insource your self-care is a personal choice. These are my preferences. But if you are looking to improve your financial health and perhaps save or invest towards retirement, there are some pertinent questions you're going to have to ask yourself when you're faced with certain expenses. Is this a need or is this a nice to have? Simplified my style. Now, anyone who knows me knows how much I love my fashion and my style. And fashion used to be a very sneaky expense for me. I was never into trendy clothes, and I still am not. But as I've grown older, my sense of style has changed and it's become a lot more mature as well as conservative. Back then, I wore fairly fitted suits and dresses. At one point, I was hovering between a UK size 2 and 4. And I remember being upset one day because I couldn't find any suits for work that had the long trousers that I absolutely love, as well as the fits. They were all too big. But alas, age has caught up with me. And even though I am still relatively slender, I now wear clothes that are more loosely fitting, that are incredibly comfortable yet stylish, good quality, and should last a pretty decent amount of time. I also wear less and less makeup, which in itself is a story for another day, but it was a huge drain on my bank balance. And this was on account of the volume and the brands of makeup I purchased back then. But now that I have simplified my style, I now opt for timeless pieces and quality over quantity, minimalizing material possessions. It seems like everywhere you go, you are constantly being bombarded with images that encourage you to spend. And it is increasingly so hard to get away from this. And in reality, you no longer have to leave your house to go to a shopping mall to feel tempted. Temptation is now right in your hands. Our phones, our gadgets, and social media is flooded with these buy now, pay later apps. And spending quickly is now as easy as clicking a button. In my journey towards becoming financially more responsible and considered, I found decluttering to be a very powerful tool. And decluttering isn't just about tidying one's space, it can also save you quite a bit of money. From my decluttering experience, I found that the less things I own, the more I get to enjoy the space around me and the less I'm tempted to fill my space with a lot of junk. And I only retain things that make my life happier and a lot easier. Selling your unwanted items can actually bring in a little bit of cash towards saving or investing. Experiences. One of the great joys of retiring earlier is that I'm getting to live the life that I would want to live if I was in my 60s or perhaps a septuagenarian or indeed an octogenarian. And I'm quickly learning that entertainment doesn't have to cost a fortune. And what's ironic is that I've lived in London for an extended period of time, but I'm only just discovering some hidden gems in London. And what's more is that these are absolutely free. And I didn't realize that these experiences existed. And that is because I was so accustomed to paying for almost everything. I never really searched out free events in areas that I enjoy, like musicals, ballet, museums, theatrical productions, as well as photography. I have always been quite reclusive, but on the odd occasion, I would find myself on a night out enjoying the company of my friends and family, and I would spare no expenses for that experience. But now, in addition to that, I'm starting to discover and really enjoy some incredible events that London has to offer. And if you're based in the UK, I got asked this question on one of my videos. An incredible website to find free events, whatever takes your fancy, music, photography, politics, you name it, fashion. A great website is Eventbrite. I am not sponsored by Eventbrite. I just immensely appreciate the amount of information and the great access you can have to like-minded individuals on the platform. Buying pre-loved and quality vintage items. I acknowledge that this point is a little bit controversial because there are some individuals who would never buy pre-loved anything. And on the other side are individuals who will only buy pre-loved to counter the effects of overconsumption. And they see it as their way of doing their part for the environment as well as planet Earth. And I fall somewhere in between. I love vintage items. I love vintage furniture, vases, suitcases. And from my experience, some older, very well-made items tend to last a lot longer and are of better quality than buying brand new items from the production lines we have today. And a nice bonus is, of course, that buying pre-loved does its bit to help the environment. Why pay full price when you can get the same quality or even better for a lot less? Improved health choices. Like some of you, I enjoy a lovely meal in a picturesque setting. And when I worked in the city, I could count the amount of times I cooked. I bought almost every meal I consumed, and I had a great weakness for desserts. But now I cook a good 80% of my meals, and I also infuse a lot of fruits and vegetables in my diet. As I mentioned previously, I also complete 10,000 steps every single day to keep healthy. I cancelled my gym membership because, well, I never went to the gym. I was always traveling, and for me, that was my excuse not to hit the gym. And the older I get, the more I realize that staying healthy isn't just about looking good, it can also save you a ton of money in medical bills over the long term. And therefore, the way I see it is that a healthier life means less expenses and more energy to enjoy my retirement. Negotiating packages and subscriptions. According to data gathered from US media consumers, millennials had an average of 17 paid media and entertainment subscriptions. That is a high number. And one frugal practice that I have adopted is negotiating my packages with my service providers, and also going through my annual subscription list to scrap any subscriptions I no longer use. The odd $3.99, £10, £20 subscriptions can easily add up. Now imagine having up to 17 of those to pay for every month. I was able to negotiate my internet package, which gave me a higher broadband at a cheaper cost, and I apply the same practice to things like my telephone service provider as well as my insurance, which itself has saved me hundreds of pounds every year. So make sure you are scouting for the best deals available to you. These seemingly small changes have actually made a significant impact to my life in early retirement, and they have helped me save thousands of pounds in expenses every year. And the best part is, I can honestly say that they haven't felt like sacrifices. On the contrary, they've made my life better and I'm a lot happier. But I'm always open to learning. So please let me know in the comment section if you have any particular frugal practices that I haven't mentioned in this video and that have improved your financial health or perhaps just made your life a lot easier and happier. And just like that, my dear friends, we have come to the end of another video. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.